Hey guys, back with part 2 of my convention haul. I'm going to show some autograph stuff I got. Got an action figure, a poster print. It's pretty cool. And I'll just start out real quick. On the autograph stuff, I always kind of like to go by the the small press guys and the independent publishers. Those guys are just getting started out. I know a lot of times you got a tendency to kind of go past those tables and go to the big name artists or the big name comics and all that kind of stuff. But I like to at least try to hit one or two and just kind of show those guys some support. These guys were out of Ohio, and they had like a little first issue of a book called Nightmare Unknown. Kind of a black and white noir thing. It's got a little bit of everything, a little sci-fi, a little fantasy. Art's pretty cool, as you can see there. Yeah, they're really cool guys. They're just getting started, and the writer, James Maddox, he signed that for me. It's a really cool book. Kind of got that old 30s, 40s crime noir feel, I'm trying to say. And another book they had with some more cool art was called The Horror Show, and that was a pretty cool book, and the writer and the artist signed that for me. Zombies are not the end. So it was pretty cool art, so kind of glad to get that. Okay, as far as veteran comic artists, you had Mike Grell there, Frank Brunner, Bob Hall, and if a lot of you don't know who Bob Hall is, I mean, he's been in the industry for a long time, done a lot of great stuff. He did like the first 5 or 6 issues of the original Squadron Supreme series for Marvel, and I just love that stuff. But I couldn't find my Squadron Supreme stuff to take, but I did find a couple issues of Avengers he did back in the early 80s. Actually pretty nice. So here's 213. Signed by Bob here. Court Martial of Yellow Jacket. I'm sure Avengers fans, they remember this storyline. And here's one of my favorite Avengers books. He did this one too. 214, guest starring Ghost Rider. And here's Bob's signature over here. Really nice gentleman. Okay, I went to Frank Brunner's booth, talked to him, and actually bought a sketch from him I'll show in a minute. But here's a Marvel Premiere number 6. I had him sign that. Right here. In the gold writing here. It's an awesome cover there. And he signed a copy of Super Team Family number 3. Here. And this is actually the only work that Brunner ever did for DC. I asked him, because I kind of researched it, and I said, this is the only thing I could find, or find that I had that you did any work for DC. And he said this is the only work that he ever did for DC was this cover. And he said he was wanting to do some work for DC. He was wanting to do a Dr. Fate series, actually. And he had a sketch of Dr. Fate, but he said they were going to give him a crap contract, and the money was, like I say, shit. And he just didn't want to do it. He would have loved to have done some of the characters. Like I say, I saw the Dr. Fate sketch, and I was like, man, how could they not want you to do that? And he would have been perfect, because, the Doctor Strange stuff and all the magic and sorcery stuff that he's famous for. But yeah, there's his signature on that. And I had him sign my copy of Man-Thing 1 here. Of course, I'm sure everyone's seen this. So that's what I got from Frank. Got some Mike Grell stuff. He was there at the con last year, and I had him sign a few books. But here's some more stuff, like some of my favorite Grell comics, or favorite covers. Here's a really cool Batman, issue 289. He signed that one. And probably my favorite Batman story that he did, fighting a vampire, Detective Comics 455. So set it there. And of course I had to get a copy of Superboy signed, 208, giant size issue. That's a great story. You got a couple of really cool reprints. Another one of those square bound books that I'm always talking about. And we have All-Star Comics 58. First appearance of Power Girl. Sign it down here. Warlord #1. Great series. And the first appearance of Warlord, first issue special #8. You can kind of see it. I think you got kind of a hurry down here on this one. Can't really tell what it is, but yeah, first appearance of Warlord. Cool book. And as far as the like the movie and TV stars, there was only like a few. Like I said, Billy D. Williams was there, but his line was like way too long, and I didn't want to stand in line 2 or 3 hours when I could be like, seeing some of the other people and scarfing up some back issues. But met Jackson Bostwick and got him to sign this. Anybody that was a kid in the mid-70s to early 80s remembers the old Shazam TV show. And there he signed that. So Shannon, best of luck, Jackson Bostwick. And then he put Captain Marvel, Shazam, 1974 to 1980. And then he actually dated it and said, here's the authenticated down here, So he dated it down in the corner. But there's a great article in here for you guys that read back issue. Actually on him and the other guy that played him, I can't remember his name. John Davies. But there's a really cool article in this if you guys want to pick it up. Just a really nice guy. I probably talked to him for 15 minutes. Okay, two I was really glad to get. Those of you that are into martial arts and kung fu movies, you'll know this guy. And I know Tony Weinar, he will. But Jim Kelly was a guest there. And I had him sign a print of an old movie he was in called Black Belt Jones. There you go, to Shannon Peace, Jim Kelly. I've got a picture of myself with him, and Margot Kidder too. I'll put those on video, or I'll have those blown up and show you guys if you're interested. But he was a really nice guy. I got there early, and he had just got there, and he was setting up and displaying his photos and everything. And he had I guess a handler or a guy helping him. And I was just kind of waiting, and he said, I'll be right with you, and I said, hey, take your time, I'm here all weekend, and I'm just kind of standing there. And this, the only bad experience I had at this con, this guy walked up behind me, and he's like, hey, dude, so what was it like to work with Bruce Lee? And he just kind of gave him a look and said, well, it was great, I'm trying to get ready here. And that it irritated him, because he's probably heard that question for the last 40 years or whatever, and I just thought this would be a little bit of breath of fresh air. And he said, he saw this and said, oh, I haven't seen this one before, so that's really cool, and so he let me take a photo with him, and he was really genuinely nice guy. I enjoyed that. And another one, I said Margot Kidder was there, and she had all the Superman photos and all that stuff. But I had a print of the Amityville Horror film, which is like one of my top 2 horror movies of all time, and I had her sign that. So this is to Shannon, love, Margot Kidder. Anybody seen this, they know this is one of the classic horror movies. But she was really nice, and she was funny. She said, she looked at this poster, she said, get out, and she said, said it was a blast making this movie, and a lot of people think it's all scary, with all the blood, but all that stuff is fake. But said the one thing they couldn't fake, for those of you who've seen this film, the original was Rod Steiger playing the priest, you know, and he's in there and he's trying to bless the house and all that, and all of a sudden it's hot in there and the windows won't open and all the flies show up and just start sticking to him, you know. And she said the only way they could do that, said, well, we need real flies. So she told me they smeared a thin film of honey on his head or on his face, and that's how they got the flies to stick to him. And I thought, well, that's a great fact. But she was really nice, and I got a photo with her too, so I'll be probably showing that in another video. But yeah, that's one of the highlights. Get to talk to her and Jim Kelly, just really genuinely nice people. Okay, something else I really enjoyed getting. I was at Frank Brunner's table. I was looking through his stuff, and he had some prelim sketches that he had done for people that had ordered commissions. And this one just blew me away, and I said, this is a prelim sketch. But I bought this. As you can see, it's got Doctor Strange and Clea over here, and down here it's kind of a crossover deal. You have Death over here and Sandman, the DC version down here, and they're fighting the demon. I think it's Cthulhu. But I thought that was really awesome. I said, man, if that's a prelim sketch, I just need to throw my pencil away. But that's it's really cool. And I guess he did this about 6 years ago. But this is really cool, and he gave me a good price on it, so it's really neat. Okay, a couple things here. I'm gonna do a shout out to my buddy Gimpy204. I know he's a big Planet of the Apes fan too. And anybody's read this series called 68 from Image? It's about, you know, it's another zombie book, but it's like you know, I think it all started like in Vietnam in 1968. So everything that had to do with that book in 1968, they had a print of like a famous character or an actor or something that was going on in 1968. Of course, being the Apes fan that I am, I had to buy this print, you know, of Cornelius, or I guess Roddy McDowell, because if you look close, they kind of make sure that you know it's the actor that's turned into the zombie, because you see the fake teeth and then you see his real teeth behind the ape makeup. So there you have Roddy McDowell, a.k.a. Cornelius, as a zombie. But I thought that was just great, and had Mark Kidwell, the writer, he signed the print for me. So I thought that was really cool. And in the Apes vein, I scored an original Mego action figure of Zira. Wasn't in the box, but it's, you know, it's in really good shape. And I didn't have any old Mego stuff, so this is, you know, I was really glad to get this. It was pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to cut this one short, and I'm going to do the rest on another video because I don't want these to be too long-winded. But guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll be back with part 3. Thanks.